So Link ended up tapping into these key targets that I set out previously. And you can also see that we tapped into this particular target, sitting between $13.73 to $14.07, which is the X-Wave target, where I mentioned how I was tracking a WXY structure. And this X-Wave is a 50 to 88.2% retracement of this W-Wave. And of course, here you can see that we ended up tapping into that region, and we ended up reaching $13.79, and ultimately we ended up getting rejected at the 200 DMA, which then led to this move to the downside, where we then broke past this local low at $12.82, which then further confirmed that the X-Wave was complete at $13.79, and we were within a Y-Wave to the downside, which is typically a 1 to 1.226 retracement of the W-Wave. So if I bring that to over here, and down to over here, and essentially we were looking at for Link to reach anywhere between $12.77 to $12.96. But here you can see that we ended up extending beyond the typical requirements and reached $12.63. That can happen from time to time, especially if we are in a bearish environment. And the fact that we failed to actually retrace towards the 1.618 retracement level at $12.47 tells me that this move to the downside is not a impulsive move, but instead is a corrective move made up of a WXY structure. And so, yeah, following on from this move to the downside, where we reached $12.63, we then saw this push to the upside, where we actually failed to retest the 200 DMA. And so it's possible that we are within this X wave, which is a 50 to 88.2% retracement of the W wave. So here you can see that the 50% retracement level sits at $13.38, and here we ended up reaching $13.38, which is the 50% retracement level exactly. And so it's possible that this X wave is now complete, and we are now within the Y wave to the downside. And for that to happen, then we need Link to actually break past this local low at $12.63. And so first things first, what I'll do is see what's actually taking place within this move to the downside. So if I go on the 5-minute chart, and yeah, here you can see that we ended up breaking past this low at $12.91. And within this move here, we actually failed to break past this high at $13.17. And so it's possible that what we are forming right now is a WXY structure, with this being a W wave, this being an X wave, and this being a Y wave. So if I remove this and mark out the wave Y target, and so here you can see that Link has the potential to reach anywhere between $12.60 to $12.71. And what's interesting about this is if Link was to retrace towards the 1.236 retracement level at $12.60, that will then break past this local low at $12.63, which could then further confirm that we are within a Y wave. And essentially what would then play out is a WXY structure, where the X wave would top off at $13.38. And we would then be within a Y wave to the downside, where we then break past this local low at $12.63. And so, yeah, in order for us to be bullish, essentially what we need is for a WXY structure to form, where this would be the W wave, this would be the X wave, and this would be the Y wave. And in order for that to happen, then what we need is for the Y wave to be, for the Y wave to not actually extend towards this region, but instead reach the minimum requirement, which is a 61.8% retracement of the W wave. And so if I bring in the fib tool once again and bring that down to over here. So essentially what we need is for Link to retrace towards $12.89 and then see a pump to the upside, as opposed to retrace towards this region here. And if that's the case, then we could see a final push to the upside, and then we'll then see a bigger move to the downside, where we'll then begin to track that wave Y. But as things stand at the moment, it does look like the X wave is complete, and we are now within the Y wave. And so that X wave would then have topped off at this level at $13.38. And we are now within a Y wave where we can see a WXY structure form with the Y wave reaching this region here. So if I remove this and go back to the hourly chart, what I'll do is track that wave Y. So if I bring the fib tool once again and bring that to over here, so that Y wave target would sit between $11.60 to $11.92. So that's this Y wave target here. And as for this bigger Y wave target, given the fact that this X wave ended up topping off at around $14.17, again, what I'll do is target out this bigger Y wave and bring in the fib tool. And bring that down to over here. And so that Y wave target would sit between $10.99 to $11.54. And here you can see that this target for the smaller Y wave sits above this bigger Y wave target. And so it's possible that what we could have forming within this Y wave is a bigger WXY structure, where this will be the W wave, and then we'll see a pump to the upside to complete the X wave, followed by a final push to the downside to complete the Y wave, which would then tap into this region. Or the alternative could be that the Y wave could extend beyond the typical requirements, similar to what took place over here, and we will then tap into this range here, and that will then complete the Y wave. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Link, and hopefully you found it useful. And if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.